encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is what's something you used to believe about relationships, but you no longer do. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive F5 with Roland. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I spoke with breast cancer survivor, Dr. Tiffany White, and we discussed breast cancer, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Head on over to YouTube, type in Intellectual Radio, stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, always hope, but never expect. Here is your trending topic for today. According to Chicago's WLS, the city of Chicago's council floor leader is stepping down from the position and resigning as chair of the committee zoning, landmarks, and building standards after being accused of bullying a colleague during a meeting on the city's council migrant crisis. Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa of the 35th Ward announced that he was resigning effective December 1st. City leaders said that Ramirez Rosa allegedly bullied, manhandled 37 Ward Alderwoman Emma Mitz before a heated vote relating to the Chicago sanctuary status on Thursday. The alleged incident happened during the Thursday City Council meeting. Ramirez Rosa physically tried to restrain Mitz, who is the longest serving woman in the council, from entering the voting floor. Mitz has said she is encouraged by her colleagues' support and will have more to say about the incident later. Mayor Brandon Johnson also released a statement, and he said over the weekend he spoke with Alderwoman Emma Mitz and Alderwoman Carlos Ramirez Rosas yesterday, and he agreed that he should step down from the position of the city's council floor leader and the chairman committee of the zoning, landmarks, and building standards. Alderwoman Mitz is a leader who is of a binding faith. She is committed to public service and principles of accountability and mercy. Alderman Ramirez Rosa actually acknowledged his transgressions, apologized to his colleagues, and actually said that he will be building trust. That is your trending topic for today. Never a dull moment in Chicago. If you are tuned in on any form of social media, I am inviting you to like the show, share the show. Please invite someone else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information. We're grateful for our sponsor. We have Emanuel Church of God in Christ with Pastor Michael Richardson, and he has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emanuel COGIC at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emanuel COGIC-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson, and we're from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
Co-hosting with me today is none other than the cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, Rizal Gilmore, aka The Biz. Hey, Rizal.
Hey, Lady ReShell. You know, I love your introduction to me. It just, it gets me fired up every single week.
I know, right? I'm ready for you to bring it, because this is, like you said, this is going to be a juicy conversation.
Yes, we need some juice. I feel this is going to be juicy. This is going to be good. And, you know, we're about to dive into something that you can't look up on the internet or anything. Like, this is life experiences that we are sharing with people, and they need to adhere and listen to what we're saying. Don't be naive. Like, we are giving you the juice. We're giving you the plans. All they have to do is just work it. We are giving you the tea.
Yes, you just got to use it. So our topic is, what's something you used to believe about relationships but no longer do?
Ooh. When I say just listening to that, just so many things just go click, 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 click. Like, so many things. I don't even know where to start. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Oh, I'm going to start from the beginning when we were little girls and we, watched these cartoons with all of these different princesses, and they had their Prince Charming who always came through and swept them off their feet. So from a little girl, it has been implanted in our minds that someone is supposed to come and sweep us off our feet. And they're supposed to be a Prince Charming. When you think about a Prince Charming, you almost thinking about somebody who's perfect, who doesn't have any flaws. And, you really don't have to do anything, but just be, and they'll come and sweep you off your feet. So that would be my first one.
If that has been every little girl's plans, and I know, TV shows a lot, then you definitely have been misled. It does not saying that it can happen, but I don't think it's going to happen in this lifetime. Every woman wants to be swept off their feet. Rescue us, Kenya Brown.
That's true. Hey, Kenya.
Every
Hey,
woman
Jasmine.
wants to be swept off their feet and have their Prince Charming, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. There's a lot of things that come in between. There's a lot of obstacles, obstructions, and so forth. And that's what this whole conversation is about. Like, you thought that you would be swept off your feet, but this happened. Y'all together, and maybe finances played a part, because finance is one of the big things that tear marriages apart. So maybe finances came into play. Maybe he don't make enough money, and maybe you do. And I know we had this conversation before about this one girl who made $400,000 because she was a surgeon, and I think her boyfriend made $40,000 with whatever he did. They was finding a way. But if you have some of the mentality of the females, definitely of today, that ain't gonna work for them. You need to be on. You need to be here or really above, because let's just go. I am fired up on this. We got so many layers to peel back on this thing.
So true. So true. Did you give your one? Because you said so much up in that just now.
Well, yeah, my one was, the finances.
Like you said, which is a really big part. But what I find, because I don't want to brush over it really quickly, what I find with women who make more money, I find that when they try to say, oh, I want somebody who makes what I make, then people tend to discourage them and say, you don't need to find nobody that makes what you make. You're not going to find anybody. You just need to settle for someone who makes a little less. So what that you make more? And it's like, why can't I just get somebody that equals me out? Right? We're partners. So I find that a lot of women, sometimes they get this, people discourage them from seeking a mate that they may feel that's equal because they make the same amount.
But women feel that way. But men, we feel as though we need to make more than the woman, because it gives us more masculinity. It shows that we're more like in charge. Like, yes, I am head of household. So for men, it's a little bit different. For us, we need to make more than a woman for those reasons.
Do you feel like the majority of the men feel this way?
I do, because no man want no woman telling him and throwing up in his face about what she did for him and how much she made and she paid the bills and blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants that. Even though there are some men out there who won't get up and get off their rats beep and go to work and do what they need to do, so they won't have those conversations. They just a lazy bum laying around the house. And if that's who you choose to lay down with and be with, then that's your prerogative. Do you, boo? I'm not mad, because that's what makes you happy.
I've heard from men, like on these different talk show platforms, I heard from men saying, to confirm what you're saying, they say that when a man is looking for a woman, he's not really looking at her income, her job, or anything like that, because 9 times out of 10, he already know that he can take care of that woman. And if he wants her to start working, that he can do that. So he's not looking for a woman to make a lot of money. But it's the opposite for women. We're looking either for you to match us or to make a little bit more.
Yep.
And that's about security. It's about security that comes with that. Like, okay, if we're making the same and something goes wrong, we could probably survive off that one income. But if you coming in low, then it's like something, how crisis happen. It's like, what's gonna happen? We one step away from being homeless.
Right. And I always say, if two people are going to go into see what you was just describing, partnership. We don't have that these days with partnership, and that's what they don't understand. But I always say, if you're going into a relationship, like whether it's you're renting, you're buying a home or something, if something happened to my spouse or my significant other, then what I can hold that person down until they get back on their feet, and vice versa. She can hold me down until I'm back on my feet. Because if she makes the majority and something happens to her and I'm not pulling, enough to keep the roof over our head until things get back the way, guess what? Like you said, we're going to be out and we're going to be in a situation.
And then it brings strain on the relationship.
And then the stress come in, because it's like, I'm doing everything, I'm this, I'm that, and there come those conversations that you're about to have.
So I think go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to get ready to say my number 2 kind of plays into what we're talking about, that just because he's a man doesn't mean he's a provider.
That's true. You really got to listen. You got to read that again. They got to look deep into what you just said.
And I get this from my dad. My dad, if he didn't do anything else, he provided. Like, we didn't have to want for anything. We never went hungry. He paid all the bills, because back then that's what they did. My dad paid all the bills. My mom never had to work. She took care of all of the house duties, anything to do with the house. She took care of anything that dealt with outside of the house. My dad took care of. Right now, we have a different definition of what a provider is when it comes to a man. And like you said, I think it's more partnership. It's not like, oh, he's the head of the house. It's like, no, we partners. And which is out of order, because that's not what the Bible say. The Bible say the man is the head. But are we just supposed to say, because he's the man, he's the head? Or does it matter that, oh, he's paying the majority of the bills, that makes him the head?
Well, if he's paying it, well,
does it matter?
I think if he's doing head of the house things, he's doing man things, then, I think those things would make him the man.
What are head of the house things?
And I know this is if he's providing for his family, if he's, if there's love that's still going, if he's still maintaining his end of the bargain of when your mother and him first met, then he's being that man, what he's living up to the man that he said he would be.
Is the provider a gender thing?
It's not. And I wish I had a dictionary so we can look it up and see what Mr. Webster or whoever have to say about it. Because like you said, it's different definitions.
It is. And I think that should be defined when you're dating someone as you get closer to where the relationship is going. If you're going to take it a step further, then at that point, that needs to be discussed. It needs to be talked about. Okay, so I looked it up and it says a provider, a person or thing that provides something. A person who gives someone something that they need. That's what it says.
Just the two? I know it usually have like A, B,
Okay, that was
and like
so I
definition
gave you
C.
two. So another one is, what's the definition of a provider in a relationship? Someone who is considerate enough to ask their partner what they need and commit to providing it for them.
Ooh, notice they said considerate enough.
Yes.
Okay, so you know what? That's one of my things also about our topic tonight is you every day you're not going to like your partner. So there may be days where we have a big blowout, we have a fight, we haven't spoken 2 days. I might not want to give anything. Bills are due. I might not want to provide at this point. But according to Webster,
Well, you
I'm
gonna
going
pay
to
them
ask and be
bills.
considerate
You're gonna pay them bills.
about what you need.
It's coming
And,
directly from your
instead of what
checking
we
account.
need, but what you need and provide for you.
I hear you. Sometimes we have to operate even if you don't want to.
But that becomes building the partnership. Well, now we have an understanding. Even though, what I say about you and how I feel about you is two different things.
Yeah. And so that's why we're going to set up direct deposit. So if you have an attitude one day and decide, you know what, I ain't paying these bills, let her pay it. It's going to automatically come out of your check before you can even do anything. Hey, Lisa. Because sometimes you have to remove the emotional part of it and sometimes you have to treat it like a business.
Oh, emotions will have you all messed up.
Yes.
They will have you all messed up. But now the thing is, are we talking about a married couple who has like a joint account or whatever? But are we talking about two people who are just together, could be living in separate homes, but are very close to, they're sharing different things? Because I can have a separate account, you can have a separate account, and then we have the one joint account. That money don't necessarily have to go to the joint account with us in it. It can go to mine, and I can hold out and withheld, hold back on a lot of different things because I'm in my emotions and I'm feeling some type of way.
It's gonna be hell to pay in that house.
Well, it'll just be war of roses. It will be on and popping up in there.
Kenya said that's not how it works. Were you talking about when Rizal was talking or when I was talking?
Yeah, Kenya, you got to keep up, or ReShell got to push the buttons faster.
I'm sorry, Kenya. She said, "Why would we have an account together?
Say,
why would we have? Why did you say? Why would we have an account together, or why wouldn't
we have an account together? So that's why I said, are we married, or are we just in a relationship?
So I think this could work for either a marriage or just a relationship, because at some point you're going to run into some type of issues, right? And you're going to be like, oh man, like I never thought this would happen when I got married. I thought it was going to be, a bed of roses. We was going to be loving on each other all the time. And like Michelle Obama said one day, she said she didn't like Barack Obama for 10 years. It was a 10-year period in their relationship. They've been together 30 years. And for 10 years, she couldn't stand him. And this was around the time she said when she had the kids. And it was because she felt like he had more freedom than her. He was going golfing and doing all these things. And she's like, really, how many diapers have you changed? How many bottle feedings have you did? And she said for that 10-year period, she didn't like him.
Oh, well, this definitely leads into my number 4 or 5 or what number or more. But obviously, it takes more than love.
Yeah, love is not enough.
It definitely takes more than love to make a relationship work. And it has been a misconception that if I find my Prince Charming, we're going to be in love and everything's going to be okie dokie. Okay.
I have to like you. So when I feel it like, I feel like that love is like, ooh, I don't love this person. I want to really genuinely like that person. Right? Because sometimes love can be so conditional. We put conditions on love. You want to be able to genuinely like a person.
Well, don't we need to like the person first before we love the person?
Some people skip that step. We don't do things in order. What
Well,
about
how we
love at
skip the
first
step?
sight? We don't do things in order.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do the sex before we even get to know the person, to know if we even like that person. We done already jumped over that hurdle.
So we keep putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
But at the same time, we in a relationship, you want me to add you onto my bank account though. Now, what are you in it for? Why are you here? Who sent you?
I want to see what you spending your money on. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't want to be on a bank account. We can have our own accounts, and we can have a joint. If we're married, we can have a joint account to where the bills are being paid out of. But if we're just in a relationship, then I don't need to be on your bank account. I don't even care.
But doesn't that make a woman feel special? Like, oh, he put me on the bank account. We going somewhere.
No,
We must be moving towards going down,
no,
easing on down the aisle or something.
You could buy a house with the person, and they could still walk out. That means nothing. And if something happened with the bank account, now my name is on there. Now my credit jacked up because something you did. Don't put my name on that account. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, that's why you got to know the person who you with.
True. Sometimes people can play. What is the imposter syndrome?
Yeah, we talked about it many times where, that mask will fall off after a certain time because they can't stay in a role that they planned for too long.
Yes.
So
Kenya says, especially if you were in a relationship. Look who decided to join us. Hey, Red.
Cadillac grills, Cadillac. Look at the oil my Cadillac spills.
Lisa said relationships comes with great sacrifice and work.
Absolutely.
I totally agree, Lisa. I totally agree. You can't skip the work or the sacrifice part. You can't be selfish. It's not all about you. What can you do for me?
But that's the mentality these days. And I must say that it's more women than it is men. But we also have to keep in mind that love fades and it also diminishes. So you're going to need something to fall back on.
Does it really?
Yes.
Really?
Especially if you two are not seeing eye to eye on things.
The Bible says love covers a multitude of sins. Is it the love or is it the person? Kenya said, you could be with a person for 30 years and you really don't know them. Who is this person?
That's true.
You wake up like, what?
That's true.
Look at Chris.
But after 30 years, you got to know something about them.
You should.
First name, last name, at least.
Look at Kris Jenner, the Kardashians, and her husband, Bruce Jenner. They was married, have kids, and then all of a sudden he wants to be the same gender as her. I heard her say he was talking about he changed his gender on his birth certificate and everything. She was like, so does that mean our marriage didn't count? Was we really married since that person I was married to doesn't exist? I was like, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how the court would look. I'm quite sure it does, especially after all that time that they was together. I'm sure it would be.
Let me hurry up and get to my number 3. We always run out of time. Always. Okay. Number 3, sex. Thinking that you're going to have a lot of it when you get in this relationship. You think it's going to be all about sex.
That's all in the partner that you choose. I've been with partners that wasn't so sexual and it didn't last. Then I have some that's all about it. It makes me happy because that's the type of person who I am and that's who I chose.
You know how at the beginning of a relationship when you have sex and it's just constant and then you get in a relationship and you're like, dang, but we ain't did it in months. What's going on? And you like, did they trick me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Did they trick me into this relationship?
What you been doing to these men, Lady ReShell?
No, I'm going off of what men say. Men say they, how you constantly get at the beginning and then they get into the relationship and they like, okay, now I have to beg her to get it.
Yeah, y'all go on a damn drought. Like, what is that about?
Did she trick you, bamboozle you into this
Yeah,
relationship?
but you sure asking for the money.
What money? Remember,
The money.
can you say yes? So that's all you guys have in common is the sex. That's it. If you're not having sex, like why are we here? Why are we here?
But I'd still say that's a conversation that needs to be had in the beginning, because just because I'm attracted to you, we still may not be compatible. You may not cover my 50% of what I believe in or what I want. And that is one of the things. So that conversation, and it's not being like, oh, that's all I want, but why go that far to the extremities when I'm going to be unhappy later because we're not compatible in that department? Look, I'm trying to not waste any time, waste yours, waste mine. I'm trying to get to good. If we on the same wavelength, and you like it 2 times a day, 3 times a day, oh, then hey, then great. Then we can move forward with some things. Let me go to the next level and peel back a layer of you. But if not, then I need to pause because we ain't on the same level.
Ooh, get on this level, y'all. Red says, true, you started, then you stop. It's like you feed them a little bit, then you like, you yank it back. You got that little stick with the string on it, and you dangling it.
Yeah, you dangling the carrot
Right.
dangling the carrot in front of the
Right.
horse.
Yep. And then all of a sudden it stopped, and you like, what happened? It just all of a sudden just dried up. Just dried up. Hey, you
Maybe I should
guys.
start. There ain't no money coming in.
What? What's
Let's
with
see
this
what
money?
happens.
Hold on. What's with this money stuff? Rizal? Hey, Angela. We got Angela in the house. You guys, we're live on Intellectual Radio, and we're talking about what's something that you used to believe about relationships that you no longer believe it. And we have co-host Rizal Gilmore on here, and we have a packed house. And Rizal. You guys are going to learn something today. So I hope you got your pens and your pads out and you're taking notes. So the next relationship you get in, guess what? You won't have no regrets. No regrets. So here's my number 4 result. If your partner has cheated on you, that means that they don't love you. That's something that you believe about a relationship, but you no longer believe that now.
Well, yeah, I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that I don't believe that they don't love you. I think they found something that was just convenient at the time to pass them over because you holding out from them. So they got to find something to pacify their needs.
Stop holding out.
I don't believe that because, the difference in loving you and being in love with you, it's always, I would never do anything to hurt you, but yet and still we do it.
Kenya said, we are not going to learn anything from him. Who is him, Kenya?
You better listen up.
Who is him, Kenya?
One relationship at a time. We doing it across the Chi, all across Florida.
Okay, Kenya says, no, per him, that means that they are not having sex 2 or 3 times a day. Who was having sex 2 or 3 times a day?
See, why not have sex 2 or 3 times a day, Kenya? Kenya, don't fall into that category. See, we need one of the hotlines where the caller can call. Wasn't supposed to have where the caller can call in because we need some explanation.
They can call in. We have a number.
Kenya, are you like a 1 week, like once a week type of person, or
she didn't say
because
that.
if that's once a week, that's only like 4 times a month, and somebody could be angry and you not know it.
She was talking about you. She says, no, per you, that means that you're not having sex 2 or 3 times a day. She didn't say she wasn't.
I'll be chasing this money.
The woman can go all day, and the man, you cannot. You can't. How many times a day can you come for a man? That long?
Now, in my prime, I was
prime?
probably able to go like 3-4 times a day.
Okay. So for a
now
woman,
in my older age, like
What's the older age? Because Rizal act like he's so old.
Maybe like once in the morning, then I can rejuvenate all through the day, and then at night, if it happens and that person ain't sleep, because look, they in their old age too, unless you got some little young summer bunny out there, but
because we hit our primes at different times.
I would say twice.
We hit our primes
twice
at
isn't
different
bad,
times.
but that's the agreement that y'all have. Like, okay, honey, I'm tired today. When I wake up, look, I'm gonna turn this thing around, and you handle your handle. Or at night, look, I'm gonna be ready for you so you can put me to sleep. So it all depends, but that's the agreement that y'all have. Y'all know what y'all have. It's not mandatory that it's 2-3 times a day, but if it is, God bless you, and I want to be like you. But if it's not, hey, the point is, y'all still getting it in. That's what matters. But if it stopped, then there's some red flag. There's some questions that need to be answered. What happened? What's going on? Look at Cadillac. I think things happen. See?
No, he's talking.
What is he? Are you got a delay on the buttons
tonight?
Was
he talking about cheating? Were you talking about cheating, Cadillac? He says not. Yeah, I think he was talking about when we said not loving a person because of cheating, and he's saying not true, but he think things happen. Things just don't happen. You make a choice. You make a choice to take off your clothes and sleep.
Right.
It's a choice.
Angela is like, oh, wow. Oh, they loving this tonight.
Kenya said she definitely need to call in because she said she go check your result. The number is 708-223-8953 if you would like to call in. Angela said, what the heck? Rizal, what's going on with I don't know what you're doing to these women right now. Oh, no.
I'm sorry, you can't find this in the textbook. You can't find this on Google. You can't find this on the apps. This is real deal, uncut and raw.
All right.
Here on Warriors Talk, Relationship Mondays.
I'm skipping down to my number 7 because I know we're not going to get through all of these. Your partner is responsible for your happiness. This is something that you thought at the time that this was true, and now you know that it is not.
Big X.
I look at Will and Jada, and I remember at one point Will made a post and he said that he decided to release Jada so she can go and try to be happy because he decided that there was nothing he can do to make her happy. So he wanted to see, was it even possible for her to be happy after all the stuff that he tried to do for her? Should not be looking for your partner to make you happy. You're responsible for your own happiness.
You know what? I respect Will for that because it takes a big man to put himself last, to let his woman go and do what she needs to do, what she thinks she needs to do to make her happy. Because if I'm not it, or if I'm not doing it, then baby, go find what you need. Go do what you need to do. And because I know they had I thought they had an open relationship when they first got married. I mean, it's so much stuff out on Will and Jay. You don't know what to believe.
It wasn't when they first got married. I think it was down the line because Jada said that she never wanted to get married, but Will was brought up that way. So he did. And so she claimed she was forced to drag down the aisle to get married. And I feel like this was Will compromising with her. And so it works for him because, he get to see other people, but you never hear about the people that he see because he makes these people sign NDAs. So they don't say nothing. But, Jada, evidently she didn't get her person to sign an NDA because her person talked. But everybody that said that they hang around Will and Jada, they are known to have an open relationship. It's just people know it. But people in the industry are not, running around telling people about it.
Ooh, because loose lips sink ships. So thank God for some of those people that just know how to keep their mouth shut, mind your business, and keep it moving.
Ooh, Dr. Lisa said, she said, honey, if you don't be intentional about your own happiness, no one will be able to fulfill the hole in your heart. And that is so true. Your own happiness.
I can agree with that.
Now, Kenya said that's BS, but it has nothing to do with what Lisa just said. I think this was what Rizal was saying, Lisa.
I don't know what.
This is
we don't know where the comments is coming from. Give
it was
the
just
number
under
again.
that comment, but it has. I think she was talking about Rizal. It had nothing to do with what Lisa said. It just came in under that comment. All right, Rizal, what's your next one? Where you at?
So we did. Most of them are lead into segues of everything what I had written down here. So I just like the flow of how the conversation is. I can say one thing that I believe this is no longer true, that if I had all these different things, that the woman would stay with me. Whether it's monetary, whether it's material, if I did, it was like if I did so much for her, she would see how much I love her and she would stay with me. And I did like the little things that, I thought was sweet and kind-hearted and very thoughtful. I don't know if I told this story before, but there was a young girl who me and my friend swore she looked like Janet Jackson. Everybody wanted her. And she lived maybe about a block away. And she finally, at the bus stop would see it because she went to a different high school. But the same bus, because all the high schools were like downtown. So everybody from up the hill would take the bus down the hill. So one day, her living a block away, she finally gave me her number. And my buddy was like, it's about to pour down and rain. If you go over there in the soaking rain and knock on her door and show her how much that you're into her, that you're willing to go through thunderstorms for her, she is really going to like you. So I did it. I'm standing at her doorstop, knocking on the door. I'm looking like freaking Odie and Garfield. Like I just had a whole bucket just drenched down on me. And she's looking at, why are you here? Only to find out that she had another dude that was there. So do you know how big and bad my ego was crushed? I was hurt.
Why
was
you
mortified.
hurt? Because she had somebody.
I was upset at.
She didn't even tell you to come over.
Him. I was upset with her. But I mean, yes, it was like a surprise. But again,
baby, you come to my house unannounced. Just hey, you know better. You phone first.
Like little things. But if I did that today in this day and age, I would look like a fool, even though I looked like one then. But to me, that was like a thoughtful gesture. But that's me.
When you show up unannounced, you just looking for trouble. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I called. She didn't answer, and that's one of the reasons that made me go over there. You okay? You all right? You didn't pick up, so I was trying to make sure
you were stalking her. Lord. Angela said men have an issue with thinking with their lower head and not with their upper head. And she goes, oh, by the way, Jada is her own biggest problem, or should I say nightmare? Wow.
Yes, and yes. Cadillac, don't judge me, Cadillac. I see the eye. Don't even... Cadillac, don't act like you ain't been in the club and you probably was sending one of these chicks in there a whole bunch of drinks thinking that you going to get the number or she going to slide with you or something. I know I'm not the only one.
Just because you buying the drinks, different. Just because you buying the drinks, that don't mean you getting a number. And then I can give you the wrong number. Like, come on now. Y'all got to use y'all brain. I was a man. I'm not spending no money on no drinks.
But see, he's just being thoughtful to, like, look. Baby, you ain't got to spend your money. Here, I'm going here.
All right, moving right along. Lisa said, you cannot make someone stay with you that does not want to be with you wholeheartedly. They live at their house, but their minds is somewhere else. Ooh, wee, baby.
Well, I look at it like this. If their mind is somewhere else, then they've already left the relationship.
Your body's
especially
here with
when
me,
it comes to like whatever.
But your mind is on the other side of town.
See, look at Cadillac. See, Cadillac. He
talking about you not saying nothing. Why you not saying
nothing?
That
situation.
What's with this number, Lisa? 777-9311. What is going on?
Lisa, you giving out the Powerball? What?
Did I miss something? I think I missed something. Okay, I'm skipping down to number 14 because we wrapping this up in a minute. So you thought before that the relationship is supposed to be perfect, but as you got the experience and you started growing, you're like, nope, because you're not perfect. So nothing in the relationship is going to be perfect when you have two imperfect people coming together. I remember the song. I do remember the song.
What song is that? What song is
The
singing?
777-9311. You don't know that song?
Wait a minute. I remember this. I remember the song. Like I said, I thought she was giving out Powerball numbers.
Kenya said, no relationship is perfect. That's true. Absolutely true.
Yep, we know that. But again, like I said, it's not even. We got to work on better partnerships.
Selections. Don't be so
too.
much in a hurry.
But we have to be selective about who we select.
And when
that's going to be the key.
When you feel the red flags, one of mine says discernment. To don't ignore the discernment. When you feel it and you feel like something is wrong, 9 times out of 10, it is. And sometimes
what if there's red flags? I would say try to debunk it first. Try to make sure, get your fact. In the court of law, it's not what you say, it's what you can prove. If if he's showing you, prove it. Make sure that it's proof to you.
I'm talking about a feeling you experiencing this, and in your gut.
See, that's the emotions
in
again.
Your gut. No, it's not even emotions. Women, we're creatures of emotions. So I'm not going to dismiss my emotion. I'm not going to dismiss because I'm emotional. But God gave us, and men have it too, that is innate in us. So if you feel it, then don't ignore it. Don't push it to the side. Like, oh, yeah, okay. So he stole some money out of your purse, and you left your purse in the living room. He was the only one there. It's just two of y'all, and your rent money is gone. But you asked him, he like, no, I ain't take it. And you like, maybe he didn't take it. Well, who else was in there? He took it, right? He took it. So it's like, that's a big red flag you should not be ignoring. That's something like, no, he's abusive. He's abusive to you. You come in every week, you got black eyes, everything. Should I stay with this person? This person's beating the crap out of you. No, you shouldn't. You run for your life. Like, certain things are just red flags or things that you should not ignore. Stop ignoring, what you're feeling inside. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be something. If a person is doing something that does not sit well with you, that does not align up with your core, then walk away. Stop trying to save these relationships. Just go.
Just to say that you have a man or a woman or something.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen some women treat men like total scum, like they just say nothing, and men just keep trying and trying and trying harder, and vice versa. So yeah, somebody you feel like it's just not the person for you. That's it. Get up, move out, move on.
Yes. So another one of mine was being alone is not the same as being lonely. A lot of times we're afraid to be alone. Sometimes you need to be alone with yourself versus being in this relationship that's abusive to you. Sometimes you need to just take a step back and take some time for yourself to figure out, why do you keep getting into these type of relationships? Why do you keep attracting these type of people that mean you no good?
Right. Somewhere you got to realize that you're the common denominator in these relationships. You got to step back and not observe yourself. Why are you the one always having this bad luck with men? You can't never find a good man. Don't it say in the Bible, you got to prepare yourself. You got to understand, if you want a good man, you got to be a good woman. You got to prepare yourself to attract that person who you're seeking, or who you're wanting to come to you, or whatever.
Whatever you're asking for on that list that you have for the mate that you want, become all of that before you want somebody else to do it. You become all of that. So that when they come to you, like, wait a minute, this is what I'm asking for, and I'm producing all of these things. And if they're not, then okay, that means they must not be the one. But sometimes our list could be not realistic. So you need to go over your list and chop it up, get rid of some stuff, and be realistic with yourself on what it is that you need.
And go down things that you also would. Yeah, that list should be getting shorter.
Because your list at 20 should not be the same as your list as 50. It should be a totally different list. By 50,
should they still have the same things on the list?
Your core things should be the same.
And then by the time you get older, some things should fall off. You're not looking at for more because you want to learn.
Yes.
Okay, I agree with that.
Angela says you're absolutely right. And the number one thing missing is communication, mature adults being honest and upfront in the relationship.
Yeah, here's the thing. We all know it. What you just said, Angela, we all know it. We say it. I'm quite sure me and Lady ReShell say this probably every week. Communication, communication, communication. And as much as we say it and we all know it, none of us still abide. This society still doesn't abide by it. If that is the issue that we have in this communication, then why not fix the communication? We'd rather be mad and upset with someone than to go and talk to them and say, look, I didn't like what you did here, but I'm going to forgive you and move. And, we're going to move forward.
They would rather go. I'm sorry to cut you off. They would rather go and talk to someone else and complain to that person and be like, yeah, this is what he did. This is what she did. And they telling that person all the business. And then you like, oh, and then next thing you know, you're sleeping with that person. It's like, what is really going on? Versus talking to the person that can actually change the situation.
That's right. I mean, especially mature adults, y'all got to keep it 100. You have to keep it real. There's certain things that you got to realize that's probably not going to change about him or her. And if you're going to stay or stick around to accept it and, deal with it, that's going to be on you. But you already know communication is just something that we just keep going around knowing that it's the point that we need to get to.
Yes. Another one of mine, you just hit on it. People show you who they are. And for the most part, we don't change. We change when there's like a traumatic situation that may happen in your life. But for the most part, people do not change. So if they show you who they are, believe them the first time. Stop making excuses for people just so they can stay in your life. Kenya said, yes, it's very unfortunate that some people think that having a piece of a man or a woman is better than not having one at all. Oh, that's scary too. That could be very scary. Angela says being alone teaches you to learn who you really are in God and yourself.
Ooh, well, I tell you what, if you in the wrong relationship, you don't do anything but call on God. Remove me from this situation. Take me out of this relationship. God, why did you put me here? You don't do nothing but call on God.
Wow. Someone said that it's hard to trust someone 100%. That's what they learned. So your experience has taught you that you can't trust certain people. The trust is earned. It's not given, first of all. So people have to earn your trust. Don't just get in relationships and you just trusting people and just putting yourself out there and then you just opening yourself up to be hurt.
That's that intuition. So Cadillac, take notes. Don't wait till the 5th or 6th drink, Cadillac. Cut her off at 3. Follow your intuition. Cut her off at 3. She ain't going by the 3rd one.
Exactly. Just like stop buying these drinks. And then she going home with somebody else. Angela says some people are mature enough to learn how to communicate. Then they not for you. If communicating is one of your core things that you need in a relationship to survive, and that person is not doing that, and they're not willing to try to work on it and make it happen, then you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Right. All right, Rizal, as we wrap this up, of course, this was a juicy show. As we wrap up, what are some things that you used to believe about relationships that you no longer do? What are some of your words of wisdom that you want to leave with the listeners?
Words of wisdom. I think that we need to keep learning this from each other, not just me and you, but everybody out there. If we learn it, then we can continue to teach it to other people. So learn it, teach it. That's what we're here for. That's why we try to help with these relationship topics, because me and Lady ReShell I think we've had our fair share of relationships, and we got some stories, and we love continue to share with you guys every Monday, when it's Relationship Monday. And I just really hope you guys take heed to what we're saying. I mean, it's laughter, but it's 100% factual. These stories, you can't make this up.
Well, let me just say, we're not experts, right? We're life learners when it comes to this. So all we're doing is just sharing our knowledge and our experience with you in hopes that you would apply it to your life or share with somebody else. And then we appreciate you sharing your comments and your experience with us. So my words of wisdom would be, love doesn't hurt, but expectations do. So don't go anywhere, you guys. Coming up next at 7 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio is The People Show with Mark Wallace and Charles Thomas. Join me next Monday right here on Intellectual Radio at 6 p.m. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell. Co-hosting with me today is Rizal Gilmore, a.k.a. The Biz. Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on IntellectualRadio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.